In the continuing Twilight Saga, Bella and Vampire Edward confirm their love and get married.
Last night was the best night of my existence.
But as Bella becomes pregnant, the vampire child growing inside her threatens her life.
The fetus isn't compatible with your body. It's too strong and fast growing.
With both vampires and wolves closing in, Jacob joins Edward to protect Bella and her newborn daughter in the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Sean, Leah, you guys have just seen it. Sean, why don't you start us off?
Really only 4 things happen in this film adaptation. You have Bella Swan getting married to Edward Cullen, you have their honeymoon, you have Bella Swan getting pregnant, and then there are a strange band of werewolves out to kill Bella Swan's baby and perhaps Bella herself. And that's pretty much the entire film. They save a lot of the other subplots for the finale, Breaking Dawn Part 2.
With 4 things happening in this movie, there is a lot of time spent on drawing out these sequences and really making you feel for these characters. So the angst that is built up around Bella's preparation for her wedding, gosh, it's got to take, what, 20, 25 minutes?
At least.
So they overdo it?
They do. And they go over things that if you've seen the previous films, you'll already know. She has just conversations with characters she's met in the other movies. That being said, I have to admit, I don't know about you, Leah, but I was never bored. I was always entertained by the goofiness, even if I felt that they were taking too long with each plot point. There is a camp value here. There's a soap opera element. So I have to say that comes through.
So I agree. I was never bored. From a story standpoint, what this romanticizing does is it unfortunately presents sex and desire in such a way that is possibly unhealthy. So for example, Bella has sex with her now husband. The sex leaves her body battered and bruised. If anybody else presented that to you, you'd be like, oh my God, that's a problem. We need to call the cops. We would never accept that. But here, it's romanticized. It's made desirable. That's problematic to me.
I have to say that the performances maybe add a B-movie element to this because they are all pretty bad. Granted, they've got pretty awful lines to spout, like, I don't know how long our love will last, but let's start with forever, or things of that nature. And none of them have a lot to work with.
But I will say this, I think that there is an emotional immaturity that happens with these characters in these situations. When Jacob gets mad, he storms out of the house and takes his shirt off and he kicks his motorcycle. And Bella doesn't know if she wants to have sex with her man or not. So she's, Robert Pattinson as Edward, he's like, no, 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 yes, 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 no, 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 yes, yes. There's no complexity to the way that these characters are structured. So consequently, the performance doesn't have a lot of room to travel.
Do you want to go for a swim?
Yeah, that sounds nice. I could use a few human minutes.
Don't take too long, Mrs. Cullen.
So the director of this film is Bill Condon, who's been involved with such musicals as Chicago and Dreamgirls. Does he make Twilight sing?
Well, does he make Twilight sing? Bill Condon comes in here as the 4th director. He just gets the job done in the sense of bringing it to the screen.
I agree. The fans and the franchise have already established what those performances are supposed to be like. So
he doesn't have much control.
And there's some pretty poor CGI too. I'd like to mention that. We have werewolves that look like they're in a computer. There's nothing about them that looks realistic. I kind of had fun with that. It's so silly that it was fun in its awfulness.
All right, I think we should take this thing to a vote. Grab your tickets.
Sometimes I like to look at films like junk food. And junk food can be really, really delicious. But I have to remember that some junk food is better than others. And I think fans deserve better junk food. So I'm going to say skip it.
Well, I wish I could dismiss the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 as goofy camp, but I don't think it will appeal to anyone outside the fan base. So newcomers won't join either Team Jacob or Team Edward. Skip it.
All right, well, that looks like 0 tickets for the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1, which is a skip it.